Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to La PIñA Rosa, where both of these clubs that we also support are more serious than our other two clubs combined in the transfer window. Listen, spoiler for Thursday, I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed. And you'll see on Thursday. But that is, like I said, that is for Thursday. I will leave that to one side. Of course, we're here to talk about Deportivo and Palermo. Transfer window closed. Both clubs have made some signings. League looking very interesting. Both teams winning over the weekend. So we have
first time in a while, actually.
First time in a while that both have won on the same game week. So happy days there. 10, welcome back. Should be a good show. Obviously, a good win for you guys. Good win for us. How are you doing?
At least for the next few months, Tonali's still with us. But
that was, for those that haven't seen it, you had David Fraudstein trying to say that Tonali was offered to Arsenal. Then his agent came out and denied it. It was bullshit, man. If Tonali ever leaves Newcastle, he'll go back to Serie A. I can tell you.
Yeah, like London or Milan. That's it. But yeah, overall doing good, I guess. I mean, I did expect. As I said, we'll talk about it on Thursday. And also, Tonali does have more trophies than Arsenal this decade. But yeah, I think overall doing good. Looking forward for Deportivo La Coruña. And also, I believe, Angus, how come you weren't in the chat last Thursday?
I wonder why. See, he'd go when his team loses.
But big up. But yeah, overall doing good, and actually a lot to talk about. Deportivo made a signing earlier, announced. I think today we made a signing. Let's see what you do tomorrow. I'll say that.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah,
if they ever win anything, their fan base is just going to be the fucking worst, man. Like, honestly.
But I think, obviously Deportivo will make a signing, and we'll talk about the transfers for both teams. But yeah, doing good, and looking forward for at least this show being good.
Yeah, look, 100%. Like I said, we'll save all of that Spurs Newcastle stuff for Thursday. Stay tuned, 11:30 a.m. UK time. So go and tune into the Year of the Bird show, where we will talk about all of that stuff. So yeah, check that out. Subscribe to both channels if you haven't already. This, of course, is being streamed on both of our channels, so please do subscribe. And let's start getting into it. So I guess we'll start with Deportivo, like you said, Ten. Deportivo went away to Cultural Leonesa. Needed a big win. Leonesa have been struggling down at the bottom, towards the bottom of the table. Depor, off the back of that, sort of detrimental loss, you could say, to Santander, a promotion rival. Depor got the win, a win they needed to get at all costs. But it took the 3rd minute of stoppage time for Yeremay Hernandez, of course, extremely talented player. And it's obviously fantastic news that Depor have managed to keep him in this January window. Obviously, he's been linked with the likes of Como, Chelsea, even before looked at him. So extremely talented player. And Depor, look, if they're going to get promoted, they need these guys in their team.
He needs to stay.
100%. And obviously, you guys have kept him this window. 90+3 penalty. It's fair to say Depor should have probably scored before that. They had, the stats show they had 4 big chances. They definitely should have made more with the chances they had. Before they got a penalty late on that sealed the win. And it's one of those where, look, just get out of there with 3 points. And they did just that. Like I said, it's obviously not the most convincing to win, just by the one away at Leonesa, who are struggling. But 3 points is 3 points. And if we're being honest, it probably should have been more than 1-0 with some of the chances that
Miranda's are winning as well. Let's go.
And yes, another significant game when we get into the standings. Malaga, who have been on form, currently behind at Miranda's. So a result, as it stands, going in favor of Deportivo. But yeah, these were the 2 lineups. As you can see, Hernandez there playing on the left. Stoichkov and Mulattieri up front. So front 2 there. Your thoughts on this game and the result? What's your thoughts?
Well, this is, at least, thank God, the first time we kept a clean sheet in the league since November. So finally, it's taken this long. And I did say in the last show, we had to win, obviously win the game, but keep a clean sheet for once. And thankfully we did in this game. In terms of the lineup, the only big hampering thing was that Zakaria was suspended actually for this game. So we had to play Mulattieri. We also played Stoichkov, not the famous one back in the 90s. But yeah, overall, it was a team probably expected. And at least, we did well in this game. I would say the lineup, kind of expected. Obviously, I would have preferred to get David Meyer, who actually did win the penalty in the end.
Yeah.
So he made a big impact as a sub. And then in terms of how the game went, I think overall we were, maybe Leonesa at the start were okay, but we did have better chances, especially in the second half. We just dominated the second half, more or less. First half was, you could say, leaning towards Leonesa. And there was actually a big support of away fans because Leon and La Coruña is, I wouldn't say it's close. It's like a 4-hour bus drive, but it's closer than going to Malaga.
Close enough.
Yeah. It's practically as if you're almost about getting to Santander. Almost. Or not really, but kind of. Or probably Asturias. But basically, this whole game we should have probably scored a lot earlier. We had 5 shots on target, but the XG, even if you exclude the goal, we still probably should have won by 2 goals at least. But we ultimately ended up winning the game. It was overall a pretty decent performance. Obviously, Yeremay, I would say man of the match. Obviously, not just scoring the goal for us, but also creating a lot of opportunities, making those big chances. And at least we ended up scoring from the penalty, which helped us. So I think overall it was a performance that we should have won by more. But for the first time this season for us, we have done the double over a team in the league. Obviously, last time we played Leonesa back in November, when we were on a good run of form. Remember, we were 5-6 games win streak.
Yeah,
maybe this is the start of it again. Who knows? But we beat them 3-0 at home. This time 1-0 away, and it also means that we are still eventually, when we look at the table, because Leonesa would they are actually the worst home team, and guess who's the best away team? Deportivo. So when you think about
what's the saying? Unmovable force meets an unmovable object, or
I think
unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, you guys were
Yeah, unstoppable force meets immovable object, and it ended up happening. The worst home team against the best away team. You kind of expected one result, and thankfully it did happen. I would say the good thing about this game is that we kept a clean sheet.
Yes, Sebastian, we will get into that. But yeah, big up to Sebastian.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, the thing that was good for me is that we kept a clean sheet. As I said, first time since November. And now with, I wouldn't say a favorable run of games, but we do have at least a better schedule. Obviously, including this game from now till probably mid-March, late March, probably around the Easter holiday. So we should hopefully be picking up points, hopefully, and more wins because, some games, now we should be picking up results. And hopefully with the clean sheet as well, it gives us confidence. And yeah, in terms of like the league table,
it's very close. You're just 2 points from second, but also you're equally just 2 points from dropping out the playoffs. So it's La Liga 2 is crazy. Like, it is a crazy league, this league. And very unpredictable.
Yeah. And then obviously, had we beaten Santander last weekend, we would have actually been first. That kind of shows just how big just one result is. But at least, we responded, got the win ultimately against Leonesa. And hopefully, Mirandes, please, bottom of the league, Mirandes, please win the game. I know
currently 1-0 up against Malaga. Although if Malaga win, they will go above Deportivo. So Depor will drop down to 4th from 3rd.
Yeah, so we'll see. Probably by the end of the show, we'll find out how that goes. But yeah, in terms of the table, the crazy thing is that the top 7, was it 2 years ago when Deportivo got promoted? The other 3 teams that got promoted, so Deportivo got promoted, Castellón, who was second, got promoted with us, Malaga got promoted with us, and Cordoba got promoted with us. So all 4 teams.
The stars are aligning.
So, it seems like the teams from the 3rd tier a couple years ago, at least showing the quality now. And obviously, you had Almeria and Las Palmas recent in La Liga, and obviously Santander, usual in and among the playoffs, the automatic spots. And the fact that they lost away at Granada, the team that we beat 3-1.
Granada, they're struggling. Yeah, so a bit of a surprise result.
Yeah, but a good surprise, I would say. And it means that this is what I said when we lost to Santander. Just because we were at that time, I think 7 points behind them, doesn't mean we can't catch up to them. And, I know it's only 4 points still, but there you go. Santander doing what they do best. When they should be, I would say, running away with the league, or at least like be consistent. Well, there you go. They're not consistent, and they ended up losing. And they do play Mirandes, which I think they should win, but we'll find out. But yeah, overall, I still think automatic promotion is in our grasp, but we have to win games now. The only game I'm a bit worried about in our run of games is not obviously the next one's going to be difficult because we'll see how they do against Barcelona. But I think it's the one after that when we play Castellón, and that was back in December when they beat us at our stadium, and we go away to them, and they play in Newcastle colors, black and white stripes. So kind of at least I'll be happy to support them, just not in that time. But yeah, overall, I think the standings, at least for now, favor us. We'll see what happens with Malaga's result against Mirandes. And come on, Mirandes, vamos. But to be honest, I do think Malaga wins, but we'll see. But yeah, I guess in terms of like other things that happen, the transfer window at least finally closes, and unlike Newcastle, at least Deportivo makes signings, So, and we actually made a signing today as well. But in terms of like the players that come in, obviously we did make a new signing, Ricky Rodriguez.
I believe that's your third signing of the window. So
let me check actually. Actually, fourth.
We must have missed one because I remember we talked about the goalkeeper and the right back you signed.
Yeah,
and we must have missed one.
Diego Gomez from Cartagena, season loan, basically on loan till the end of the season. And he's a right winger, whereas Ricky, is a new player. He's a attacking midfielder, and his contract is until June 2029. And
so a permanent signing there for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously came through the Oviedo Academy when he was younger, and has played for Racing Club. So he's played for Santander, obviously Oviedo, Burgos, and most recently Albacete, who we'll be talking about very shortly. So he will not be against Barcelona, unfortunately. But next season he will,
We'll see.
And Barcelona get relegated. I'm kidding. But no, I think.
What do you think of this signing, Ricky? Like, because obviously, look, I'll be lying if I said I've watched him. I'll be lying.
I mean, actually, I have to check if he was actually playing for Albacete when they beat Real Madrid. I actually have to check if he was in the squad.
Of course, big win for them. Yeah.
And obviously,
that'd be great if he like scored or assisted. That'd be even better.
Well, he didn't score, I know that, but if he was at least in the lineup, Rodriguez. Oh, he did come on second half against.
He contributed to the famous win over Madrid.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
When
they were 1-1 at that time, so. Good result. Obviously for Albacete, we'll see what they do tomorrow against Barcelona. But yeah, obviously he came through the Oviedo Academy. So he's been at Asturias, the region. He's then went to Cantabria, which is where Charlie stayed for that final in Bilbao. And then what was the other team? Burgos, Castellón, which is the region below all those regions. And then he went to Castilla-La Mancha, which is on the other side of the city of Madrid or community of Madrid. So now this is his fifth, in terms of clubs, his fifth autonomous community, basically. But probably the biggest club he's played.
Yeah, it says it here. You can see Burgos, Albacete, Real Oviedo.
My Galician's actually doing well.
Yeah.
But
what do you think of this signing? Obviously, you said central attacking midfielder. Obviously, similar to Soriano, the likes of Cruz that you got there as well. So kind of more creativity, sort of quality in the forward line. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I think this is a good signing. I think if I remember at the start of this window, of the transfer window for winter, that we should maybe sign at least like a player that can offer some creativity, because obviously Soriano's done well for us. Came through Atleti's academy long back, but to get Ricky Rodriguez, it seems like a good transfer. Hopefully he can perform.
Seems like he's been decent for Albacete this season.
Yeah.
So obviously it's fair to say that look, you definitely needed a few signings in this window. Obviously, as we just looked at, the table's very tight. I think you guys, Deportivo, need to be more. At the moment, you're very inconsistent. Win here, lose here, then draw, then you'll win again. You need to. If you put a consistent run together, you'll be top of the league before you know it. Because it feels like La Liga too. Everyone's consistent, not consistent, inconsistent, and there's only, like I said, there's only 2 points or 3 points from like second to like seventh. Like it's mad. So I think it's literally anyone's for the taking. I think top two playoffs literally could be anyone right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally all there for the taking. So I think making these signings to just push you guys over the line, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully that can help.
Obviously, we've already brought in the goalkeeper, Ferlo, and Altamira, the right back. In terms of the winger that I said, he's actually just, came to us. Then he went on loan to...
Oh, so he's gone back out on loan.
Yeah, to Pontevedra, which is more closer
So
to...
he won't be here this season.
Yeah, until, I guess, the end of the season.
What do you make of... I know it's not really... It doesn't really impact your first team too much, but Daniel Bachmann, of course, the goalkeeper, joined...
Watford.
What was it? No, he was at Watford. Where did he go? He went to...
Pretty sure he went back to Watford.
Did he go back to Watford?
I'm pretty sure.
Because I know obviously he was Depor. Oh no, he's gone to Leyton Orient.
Oh, okay.
He was he was on loan at Depor. They broke the loan and loaned him out to Leyton Orient.
Oh yeah. So basically, he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was never really going to play. I'll be honest.
Especially with Fernandez,
the new goalie, and
yeah.
Man. So I think so. Ultimately, I guess. I mean, he didn't really play for us, but hopefully he does well there. Yeah, can't really say much because he not even played for us really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what do you kind of think of your whole market? Obviously, you made 4 signings in total. Obviously, one today. What's his name? Ricky Fernandez. That was it. Yeah, I'm getting confused. Ricky. There's a lot.
Ricardinho.
Not Ricardinho. There's a lot of Fernandezes, so I kind of get confused. Yeah. So, what do you make of the market? Obviously, like I said, you didn't lose, Yeremay, Cruz, David Mayer. You didn't lose these guys, so that's obviously a big plus. Obviously, you've added to the squad. Do you think this can get you guys over the line? Because look, you need something to kind of help you guys become more consistent. And do you think this market will sort of help you guys get over the line? What do you think? What do you think of the market? Do you think you guys had a good market?
If I was to say out of 10 as a name, I would say in terms of the rating, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think maybe the only thing I would probably say could have been better is probably another center back, maybe someone to add more depth in the defense. But I think overall, if players still stay fit, and obviously Shimon Navarro, who was injured for the majority of the season, he's finally kind of getting back to fitness, and he's a fullback as well, so adds that sort of defensive quality. So I think overall, can this push us to get top 2? Hopefully, top 6. I pray so. I hope. But we'll see.
It could be any. That's the thing, right? It could be anything. 1 minute you could be in the top 2. Next minute you could be outside the playoffs. Like it's literally, it's literally that tight. Like it's mad. Yeah,
and obviously it's going to be interesting to see. This coming, month or so, the season ends by the day or the day after the Champions League final. That's when the regular season finishes, and then the playoffs happens in June and everything. So, there's a lot of football left to be played, and the fact that so many teams are in and amongst the promotion, not just promotion playoff, but the top 2 as well. I think probably, I would say, is there a case among the big 5 leagues? The Segunda in Spain is the most competitive.
Very, very exciting. It's not really being talked about. I think people should be taking note, to be honest.
Yeah, because it's not qualification for the Champions League, but because obviously we'll talk about Serie B, but it's only really 4 teams competing for top 2 when you think about, and you have the at worst 8th place getting playoff.
Yeah, the playoff system is different in Italy.
Yeah.
And there's less teams in Serie B. There's less teams. Plus, it's not even just for promotion. There's obviously a 16th and 17th going to a relegation playoff as well. So.
Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity of one thing happening to most clubs in Italy, whereas in Spain it's only the top 6 have something to do, and then the bottom 4 you're gone. That's it. So I think at least not getting relegated. Knock on wood. But
Oh yeah, you're well up there.
Well, 40 points right now is already more than good enough.
Yeah, you're 2 points off of second. Like it's all to play for, and I think it's impossible to sort of predict right now. But obviously, it was a great win, a win that you had to get for you guys away at Leonesa. That late penalty, albeit I think you probably should have won the game and killed it off before. It took a last minute penalty and everything, but overall, a good performance for Deportivo. Obviously, they'll be looking to now go on a bit of a consistent run, especially with obviously the market closed and new additions joining the club this month, including today, like we talked about. But I guess we'll get on to your upcoming game against Albacete, who, of course, everyone who will famously know knocked Real Madrid out of the Copa del Rey this season, 3-2.
And tomorrow,
yeah,
they play Barcelona.
And tomorrow they play Barcelona. So we'll see if they can repeat the trick. But
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Albacete, look, they're doing okay. Like they're 12th. I mean, again, still not far from the playoffs. Only 5 points. So they're still, they could kind of maybe sneak in there at some point, especially if they can beat Real Madrid. Like you can never, I guess, count them out to do anything. But yeah, it's interesting to talk about this because Albacete, look, they've won three in a row in the leagues. They're on good form. Beat Madrid, of course, recently as well in the Copa del Rey. So definitely a team that, have proven they can beat, anyone on their day because they can beat Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Depor, obviously at home. The problem for Depor this season has been the home form. Depor have the best away record, but for whatever reason, they haven't been able to quite, even during the good period, the really consistent period, not really kind of consistently do well at home. Obviously, the last home game was a sort of critical loss to Racing Santander, who, of course, sits top of the table. Like I said, Albacete coming into this on form. Depor off the back of that win, looking to put a run together. What do you think about this game? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, unlike Real Madrid, we did beat Albacete at their stadium, So
Yeah.
a lot to learn. And obviously, we'll see. Obviously, can't really give the full assessment because obviously they do actually play Copa del Rey tomorrow. So that will be interesting to see. I'll be honest, I do think they get knocked out. But if they do knock out Barcelona, fair play to them. I hope
that's
they do.
mad.
But I don't think it will happen. But overall, I think for this game against Albacete, we do have a pretty good record overall against them. Ever since we've been back to the Segunda, we've won every single meeting. 5-2, 5-1, 2-0. And 2-0 was the one back in the end of November, which was, if I'm not mistaken, the last time we kept a clean sheet until the Leonesa game.
Damn.
So that kind of tells you, how long it's been since we kept a clean sheet, and hopefully we could do back-to-back clean sheets, which would be good. That means we would at least pick up a point, but obviously a win is better. Well, obviously. So I would say in terms of prediction or how I feel about this game, obviously, I think there's a lot going on. Obviously, the big news, not just that they play Barcelona, is that literally Ricky Rodriguez literally signed from Albacete.
So he'll play his first game against his former club.
Yeah. So who knows what sort of dark magic happens when former players play their first game against, certain clubs and all that. So I feel like we'll see how it goes in this game against Albacete. We do need to start picking up wins at home now. I think at least the away form, I can be confident in most games, more or less. But the home form, especially we've lost to Santander, we've lost to Castellón, we've lost to Sociedad B, the more recent home defeats in the league. So I think it's very important that we pick up a home win in this one and then try to see how the results go. I mean, the highest we can only be is second place by the end of this coming weekend, but it'll be tough because obviously Albacete, when you think about it, are unbeaten, in the last 5 games. that includes the Real Madrid result. So hopefully we'll be, if not Barcelona, we'll take care of them. If Barcelona somehow lose to Albacete, as I said, I don't think that'll happen. I think Barcelona makes it to the semi-final, but I think this game against Albacete, in terms of a prediction, I don't know. It's just the home form that kind of destroys a bit of confidence for me. And I don't know. Because we are the 14th best home team, whereas Albacete, they are the 5th best away team in the league. So when you think about it, it's more leaning towards an Albacete win, given the form that they're in. But when you think about it, Deportivo only lost one league game since the new year. So you could say that's something good for us. So I'll say prediction. I'll go for, obviously it'll be tough to assess because they play Barcelona, and it'll be funny if they actually still rotate, because that's what they said against Real Madrid, rotate their team and they still beat Real Madrid. If they do that against Barcelona and still win, then I'm worried.
You gotta respect that, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, the good thing for Depor is that you'll have more, like you have one game a week. So
yeah, and
Albacete, they got to think about this game first. So
yeah, so hopefully kind of helps. Though to be honest, like 4 or 5 days rest time is pretty good when you think about it still. From Tuesday to Sunday, that's when the game happens. But in terms of a prediction, just given the home form's not the best for us, and they're okay, very good away from home, more or less, not like us, but I would say I want to keep a clean sheet, and they've been keeping clean sheet as well in the last few games, because Albacete, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0. So the last time they've actually conceded a goal was against Real Madrid. But the last time they conceded a goal in the league was the start of January. So in the league, they've kept 4 consecutive.
They've been good defensively. Yeah.
Yeah. So be worried, Barcelona. Be worried. If
Albacete knock out Madrid and Barca, you got to respect it.
They have to win. Then
they have to go on and win it. Why not? Go on and win it.
We'll be in the semi-final if they do.
I think Barca win. Madrid are kind of a mess right now.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. But I would say if we can score against Albacete, I think we stand a chance. But also considering they've kept.
I think if they get the first goal, it's a bit of a problem because we've seen defensively they seem like they've been good. So if they get the first goal, I think Depor could be in a few problems.
Yeah. So I would say probably the only time I might say this, 0-0.
See, I'm thinking a draw as well. I just don't. I'll be honest. I don't really trust your home form, and the fact that you won your last game, the pattern recently has suggested you're not going to win your next game. So, Albacete, of course, we'll see what they do against Barcelona in the Copa del Rey, of course, with the home form. Big up to you, Bristol. Yeah, big up, massive.
We've actually, or Derby County coming back to the Prem.
Why not? Why not? But I think this will be a draw, to be honest. I don't trust Depor at home. Albacete, look, you're kind of playing them at the wrong time. They've hit form, obviously, off the back of that Madrid famous win against Madrid in the Copa del Rey. So look, it could go either way. I think Depor obviously have the quality to win this game. But I think they might have a bit of trouble breaking the defense of Albacete down. So I think this will be a draw. And the table, look, nobody's consistent. So you don't know how it's going to end up. I think 1 week Depor could be like 6th. Next week they could be 7th or 2nd, should I say. Literally, look, the good thing is the table's tight. But, if Depor can put a consistent run together, they can definitely, cement themselves in that top 2.
Yeah.
So, I think it'll be a draw. I'm going to say 1-1. yeah, any final thoughts on Depor about your upcoming games and everything? Because you said you have a pretty favorable run of fixtures now. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously after this one we play Castillon, which is probably the tough one, but it is away from home, so we do well usually away. But then we have Eyeball, which is actually today. It was scheduled. It will be on Saturday, the 22nd of February, and maybe I might go. Maybe, but I can't guarantee. But it's a good timing. 4:15 p.m. here, and can still go home. For me, at least. Only depends if it doesn't rain, because it's been raining every single day at least. So we'll see. But yeah, looking forward to the games in midweek, the Copa del Rey, not the AFL Cup, but the Copa del Rey, at least to enjoy it. And we'll see how Albacete do actually tomorrow.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, I guess that concludes the Deportivo part of the show. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Can Depor get themselves into that top two? Table extremely tight, or will they potentially even fall out of the playoffs? Because literally either could happen. It is very, very close. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let's move on to Palermo. Palermo with a massive win. 3-0 away at Bari. Bari, who, listen, it's not really a derby, but let's just say, I know it's a southern thing, so technically, Bari is in Puglia, of course, so it's not really a derby, but let's just say the fans of both clubs do not like each other. I said that on the last show. Bari and Palermo do not get on, to say the least, even though it's not really much of a derby. But Palermo went to San Nicola, empty San Nicola. It is basically the biggest stadium in Serie B because it's about 60,000? It's about 60,000 or something. But yeah, it's empty every week because Bari are in the relegation zone. They're having an absolute stinker of a season. They can't score goals. They're the lowest scorers in the league. And with Palermo being the best defense in Serie B, of course, this game was only going to go one way, and it was going to be a clean sheet for Palermo. The question is, could Palermo put their chances away and go and win this game? And we did just that. 3-0, all 3 goals in the second half. Should have, obviously taken the lead in the first half. But eventually the pressure, paid off. Led Duran with a unbelievable Tenor. You've probably seen that header. That is an unbelievable header. That header is unbelievable. Obviously, his second, Led Duran scored a brilliant volley against Bari in the home game this season. So adding another one there. In terms of the lineups, as you can see, we had pretty much the team that I expected. Ranocchia coming back into the midfield. Pirozzi, Agello, Peda instead of Biransinski. So obviously the front three, Palumbo, Poyampalo, as you'd expect. Bani, Ceccaroni as well. So pretty much the team I expected to see. Not really any surprises there. Listen, in terms of this game, it was probably the most convincing away game we've had this season because Palermo, who, listen, we're 10 games unbeaten now, but we have had a bit of an issue away from home against Mantova, against Avellino, Entella, these kind of games where, these away games where we've sort of struggled against teams that we should be doing a lot better against. But this, this was no banana skin. This was a very, very good performance. This is the type of performance that I've kind of that I said at the start of the season that I was expecting to see. When I look at the team we have, when I look at the manager we have in Zaghi, this is the kind of performance that I expected to see sort of, week in, week out. And that hasn't always been the case, despite, even when we've got results. They've been very close, sort of 1-0. In this game, we fully dominated the game. From minute one, there was no doubt where this game was going to go. It was a matter of not if, it was a matter of when we were going to score. And eventually, we did get the breakthrough. I don't know if you saw it. What's really funny is Mattia Bani, probably with the miss of the season.
Oh, yeah, I saw. Wow.
Probably the miss of the season in the first half. So I'm thinking like, oh God, are we gonna pay for that? But luckily we didn't. We got the job done. Led the run, like I mentioned, that unbelievable header, brilliant ball in as well, and then Poyampalo. And this is where the title of the stream comes in, where I say Palermo won, but potentially a bit of a cost because Poyampalo scores the second goal, puts the game beyond all doubt at that point. Brilliant ball from Palumbo. Like that is a perfect cross, right on the money, sort of hits it across. Poyampalo heads it in, but he did get injured by scoring that goal. Literally landed on his back. Tried to continue, but wasn't able to. I'm feeling hopefully it's just an impact injury and that it's not something that will keep him out for any of the upcoming games. But you never know. We'll have to see what updates come out. But he didn't, he went to the bench when he came off. He didn't go to the treatment table or anything. So I'm assuming that it was just a heavy impact injury. Fingers crossed it is, because obviously Poyampalo is the top scorer in Serie B. He is on, I think, 13 or 14 goals now. So, that's clearly the best. I said at the start, the best striker in the league. Top goal scorer for a reason. And then late on, Giassi, who came off the bench, wins a penalty. Ranocchia, who I thought had a really good game. For me, that's Ranocchia. That's his best game of the season. Definitely his best performance of the season. Ranocchia, I've always said, he's a very talented player. He's just a little bit too inconsistent for me. But this game, he kind of showed what he can do when he's at his best. And he obviously puts the penalty away. Obviously, Poyampalo not on the pitch at that point. So Ranocchia was the one that took it. In terms of the subs, like I mentioned, Giassi, I thought had a really good impact when he came on, playing at left wing. Claudio Gomez, Corona, actually, I thought, obviously the young striker we got, I think he, had a good cameo as well, if I'm being honest. So, overall, a great win, brilliant performance. Definitely the best away performance of the season. Although the other cost that came with this game, which is a massive blow, if we're being honest, is Palumbo. That yellow card means he's now suspended for the Empoli game. And Palumbo is obviously, I thought he had an unbelievable game. He was creating chances at will. Obviously got that amazing assist for Poyampalo. Brilliant long ball onto his head, of course, there. Palumbo is going to be a big miss. It's going to be a big miss. He's been brilliant in the last few weeks. After, like I keep saying about Palumbo, a bit of a slow start to his Palermo career, but in recent weeks, I think he's really come on, been one of our best players easily in the team. Overall, not a single bad word I can say about any of the players, about the manager, Inzaghi for this game. And overall, it was a perfect performance. No banana skin. Bari. Look, we haven't actually won at Bari since Serie C, the season we got promoted. We lost last year. We drew against 9 men the year before. I'll never forget I'll never forget that stupid game. But yeah, overall comfortable. We've now done the double on Bari, so they can hold that. You know what I mean. But yeah, comfortable win, 3-0, top performance from Palermo. Exactly what I was hoping to see coming into this game, and that now makes it 10 unbeaten. Albeit for me, too many draws in that run. However, it is still 10 unbeaten, and it was capped off. The 10th unbeaten game was capped off with a brilliant win and also a brilliant performance, which is like I said on the last show. If we're going to get automatic promotion, we have to improve. And this game, listen, Bari, look, they're struggling. They're not good this season. But we had to do, we've kind of, we've not had the best performance against teams at a similar level to them, if we're being honest. So you can't take it for granted. The performances against Mantova, against Spezia, even though we won that game. These teams are near Bari in the table, and we weren't as good in those games. This game, we were a lot better. And if we're going to get automatic promotion, and is that Niz? Is that Niz I see in the chat? Big up to Niz. I think that's Niz. I must.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, big up to Niz every single time.
Yeah.
So I just seen your comment now. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, like I said, that is the performance. If we're going to get automatic promotion, that is what we got to do. Like that is what we got to do, especially against these kind of teams, sort of at the bottom end of the table. That's the Palermo that we want to see consistently. And like I said, of course, it was our 10th game unbeaten. However, with a cost, like I said, Palumbo suspended, albeit a new signing, I think will definitely help compensate for that, which we will talk about in a few minutes. And Poyampalo may or may not be injured. Fingers crossed it's just an impact, which I believe it is. But obviously, you never know. with obviously further medical tests and everything. But yeah, 10. Your thoughts on Palermo's very comfortable away win at Bari?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the highlights. It was pretty comfortable in the end. Obviously, the first half probably should have scored the open goal, practically the miss of the season. It makes, I don't know who had a bad worst this season. It makes,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
the miss. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter because we won the game, but that miss is
yeah,
that miss is like crazy. It's like it's
yeah.
unbelievable.
But then ultimately, obviously, you ended up scoring 3 goals in the
Yeah.
second half. Really good goals. Obviously, with the penalty as well. And the XG of 3.15, and you scored 3. So you practically got the XG. That's the goal, but not yet. Okay. Going to a game
That'll
in the
be
World
if you can
Cup.
go to the World Cup, that'll be amazing. So,
Yeah. I know there's not going to docs, but there's a lot of games where he's at. I know, but unfortunately, no LA Rams in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately,
mm.
yeah. Now everyone has to suffer with Seattle Seahawks or the Patriots from New England. But yeah, I think this game it kind of showed the quality of Palermo and the and the not so good situation at Bari. Obviously, biggest stadium built
I mean,
for
look at this. It says here,
Italian.
look, 58,000, yet only 10,000 attendance. It's
Yeah,
mad. But they've been
and
having bad. To be honest, they've been since. Remember, they almost went to Serie A in 2023. Almost got back-to-back promotions. You know, they came up from Serie C, obviously with us. Almost went back-to-back, but they lost to Cagliari, of course, in that playoff final. Since then, they've been in a lot of trouble. Really.
yeah. So I feel like obviously not good news for them, but for Palermo, it kind of shows that at least now you finally picked up a good away win and players that I wouldn't that have been a little bit, I wouldn't say inconsistent, but not reached the level that they're at, like Palumbo and Nokia and all that. So I feel like it was overall a solid performance from Palermo.
100%. Like I said, for automatic promotion, this is the performance that we need to see. And I've said all season that these players can do it. They can do it. It's just we've seen, and like I said, even in the games we've won, we've seen it where we haven't really been creative enough. We haven't really scored as many goals as we maybe should have. But this is what I'm talking about. That was more like it. And listen, with the table, obviously, which I'll get it up now, we are still there. We are there. As Pep says, about the title race usually. He's like, we will be there. We will be there. And we are there. No question about it. Because and I agree with Sebastian, by the way. Bari, yeah, at least for 10K out of like 58,000 is nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
both for Italia 90.
it's
Maybe
a
for
great,
Italia Turkey 32. Probably not.
maybe.
I'll be
But
honest.
it's a good stadium. It is a good big stadium.
Mm.
Like
And
definitely
the
the biggest in the league by far.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we are still there in the table. No question about it. We gained ground on Frosinone. They drew away at Entella. It's a shame they did equalize in the last minute, but they still did drop points away to Entella. So we are now 5 points from second. Venezia, I did say this last show, guys. I did say that Venezia would overtake. I didn't think it'd be this week because I thought Frosinone would win at Entella. But I did say Venezia would eventually overtake Frosinone. I think they're playing a lot better. They're obviously in better form. Obviously, I think 6 or 7 wins in a row now for them. So yeah, and Venezia 6. I miss 6. Jesus. Venezia, for me, are the team that I think, at the moment, are the best team. I think they are the ones that... I know it's only 1 point. It's still very tight. But if I was to back any team to finish first, I would definitely say Venezia right now. They've got the second top scorer in the league. They've got guys like Buzio in Dumbia as well in that midfield who have been fantastic this season. So they're the team that I think are the true sort of team to beat. in this league. But I think Frosinone, I know they're doing well and they're unbeaten and they're on a long unbeaten run just like we are. But I'm telling you, they are catchable. They are catchable. They just about scraped past Reggiana last week. They drew to Entella. I'm telling you, they're coming unstuck more than what they were earlier in the season. And we're starting to see it now. As you can see, they're only 2 points in front of Monza, 5 points in front of us. Frosinone and Venezia play each other next weekend. So at least one of those will drop points. So again, it's a massive opportunity for Palermo and Monza in this case to kind of really gain more ground on that top two. It's a shame that Monza won against Padova because I thought Padova Padova had a goal ruled out and then Monza went and scored literally after the goal was ruled out. So it was a shame, but we're still there. We're still there, and we've definitely really now solidified that top four spot in front of Modena and Cesena. Obviously now 7 points inside the playoff semi-final spots. So as of now, we've definitely got that sort of locked down at the moment. But best defense in the league, and the defense is really what's kind of, for me, been our strongest point this season. But it's just about, like I said, it's about being consistent, and it's about doing what we did against Bari more consistently than what we have been doing this season. I mean, what's your thoughts on the current situation with the table?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whenever Palermo win, they draw. Whenever Frosinone win, they draw.
Yeah.
For the last 5 games. And obviously with the upcoming game with Frosinone hosting Venezia, that's going to be
I think Venezia win that game, by the way.
What would be the best result for Palermo? Probably a draw.
I'm saying a Venezia win because, like I said, I want us to. It's about finishing second at least, because second and first, it's in Serie B. It's the same.
You're thinking as an Arsenal fan now.
No, it's different because in Serie B it's different because both get the same thing, automatic promotion. So it's about finding our way into second, and I think a Venezia win would benefit us, and that's as long as we do our job in winning next week as well, of course.
Yeah.
But carry on.
But overall, I think it's probably going to be those 4 competing for the top 2. Now it feels like, especially with the teams below, haven't won any game. The teams below Palermo, they didn't win. So I think it kind of solidifies the top 4. Unfortunately, that's not Champions League football. But I think the big one is probably going to be the Frosinone Venezia game. I think whoever wins that has a huge advantage in the top 2 or automatic race. But it's going to be tough, obviously, with also Monza playing Avellino, and then you play your favorite manager on the opposition eventually. But I think overall it's going to be pretty interesting now. I think the difference with Serie B and the Segunda, there's plenty of teams.
As you can see, there's a bit between the top 4 and the rest. There's a big gap.
It's
now.
what 7 points.
7 points.
And it could be more probably by the end of this month, I feel like, because actually I just saw when you look at the home form of the top 4, it's still the top 4. They are the top 4 best home teams. And then away, it's the top 5.
Cesena, they've got a good. To be fair to them, they've got a good away record. Cesena.
Yeah, so it feels like it does show the quality of those 4 in the league. So I feel like it's going to be tough to call who gets the top 2 still, even if Venezia are doing well. But we'll see. Just early prediction for Frosinone Venezia.
I think Venezia win. I've said this. I think Frosinone are starting to dwindle now. I think. I think there's an opportunity for Palermo and Monza to kind of get in there at the moment.
I will go with. I just want to see your tears.
Tears. I think Frosinone win because I don't like Frosinone bastards, So for what
But
they did to us in 2018, like fuck them, honestly.
Yeah.
Cheats, and they still haven't been punished for it.
Okay, I'll go Venezia then. Maybe like 3-2.
Bearing in mind, Venezia did beat Frosinone 3-0 in their game at home, so
Wow.
I think Venezia will win. But yeah,
Monza, Avellino. I'll say
that's a tough game. Avellino aren't the easiest team. That's a tough.
I'll
that's
go
a tough game.
Monza still. I'll go Monza.
Monza probably edge it. But like I do think that a lot is still. I still think that it's up for grabs. Like I've seen a lot of people say, people trying to. I think people trying to shit on Palermo, saying, Monza, Frosinone, Venezia, been in Serie A recently. They're the strongest. I don't think that it's as clear cut as that right now. Because like I said with Frosinone, they are getting worse gradually. I think. I think they're not quite as good. Look, they've been on a great run, but I do think they can be kept caught. And I did predict that Venezia would overtake them because Frosinone were obviously the ones at the top and everything. But we'll have to see how it plays out. Like I said for Palermo, all we can do is win our games and obviously see what happens. We have to start doing that more consistently. Like I said, too many draws in there for my liking. So we have to start winning consistently. Obviously, the massive positive is that we're not losing. We've only lost 3 games all season and we're unbeaten in 10. So that is obviously the massive positive. But, we need to start turning some of these draws into more wins. And if we can do that, I think we can definitely push all the way in terms of getting into that automatic promotion, of course, there.
I think it'll depend on your transfers, who you bought in, who left.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Of course, Palermo's transfer window only really kind of, it had a massive, what's it called? It kind of kicked into life today, if you wanna call it that. Listen, there's been a lot of drama over the past few weeks regarding Tramoni of Pisa, who I spoke about on this show last week. I did say I think he will be a Palermo player. Unfortunately, that has not happened. Tramoni stays at Pisa despite Girardino getting sacked the other day. Pisa, all I'm going to say is this. Genuinely, you guys are bastards because why is it you say this is all recording to report. So obviously there's a chance this might not be true for all we know. But according to the reports, Pisa asked for 6 million euros for Tramoni. Palermo were trying to offer 3-4 million and all of this. They were in negotiations, all of this. Palermo did offer 6 million euros and Pisa said no. When yet they said they will accept 6 million euros. So genuinely, Pisa, you're going to get relegated. So Tramoni will play. If you sell him in the summer, you're going to get half of what you could have got this month. But anyway, Tramoni did not join Palermo, sadly, because I think he would have been a great signing. Obviously, Inzaghi knows him very well. Obviously, got promoted with him last season. Had a great season in Serie B. But Palermo, luckily, did have an alternative. And the first, in terms of before we do talk about that, I do want to talk quickly about. It's not really technically a signing we made, but it's a player that we did bring back from loan, which I think I briefly mentioned at one point when it did happen. But that is, of course, Gian Giacomo Magnani, who has returned to Palermo. Today, he did his press conference. It's been a shame that he hasn't been able to play because of injury. He's actually recovering from an injury. But the story with Magnani is kind of, it's kind of complicated because he was our best centre-back last season, but we loaned him out to Reggiana for the first half of the season. And that was because it's very sad. It's very sad because his wife had a health problem. I'm not too sure what that was, but there was a sort of health problem that she was having of some sort. And that's why he had to go on loan to Reggiana, move back up north where he's from and everything. Obviously, the press conference he did a press conference today kind of explaining the whole story, the situation. Quite emotional, but it's great to have him back. He, like I said, was our best centre back last season. He'll fit really well alongside Banni, Ceccaroni, especially with an outgoing that we had today, which we'll talk about in a sec as well. But Magnani, after the press conference today, has officially arrived back in Palermo, albeit it was confirmed earlier in the window. But I thought I'd mention it, considering that, he did a press conference today, kind of, explaining the whole thing. Like I said, to put it short, from what I've heard, obviously listening to the press conference, his wife had a health scare and everything. I'm not too sure what the latest is on that. So obviously hoping and praying that she's okay and recovering and everything. Obviously very difficult for Magnani to kind of go through that and everything. But glad that he's back. At Palermo. So yeah, Magnani back in our defense. Hopefully soon he will recover from injury and we'll get him back. But yeah, Ten, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? Just thought I'd mention that.
Obviously, not sure about what's happening personally for him in that, but yeah, it seems like considering he was good last season for Palermo, maybe it helps shore up the defense. Obviously, it depends on his mindset and all that, but. Maybe there might be a sort of Cinderella story by the end of the season for him, hopefully. Not just for him, but maybe for Palermo. Well, maybe he scores the winning goal or something.
Oh, that would be amazing. If
near the end of the season.
In the playoff final. if we're in the playoff
final. When the season's about to end and you got top 2.
Oh. Well, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I think you're right. If I was to pick anyone to score a goal that gets us promoted, it would be Magnani. Just because of everything that he's been through, it would be amazing for him, and I hope that he can obviously help us kind of achieve the goal and everything. But moving on to in terms of an outgoing, let's talk about before we get into that news. Let's talk about Diakite, because Diakite has left Palermo. He has joined Juve Stabia on loan.
You're getting some mafia money.
Jeez. Yeah, for those that don't know, there's a whole scandal around Juve Stabia. They will probably be deducted points come the end of the season, I imagine. But Diakite has joined Juve Stabia on loan. The Diakite, look, he hasn't really kind of made his way into Inzaghi's team this season. Like I said about Diakite, I thought unbelievable when he first joined under Corini in January 2024. Unbelievable, had a great 6 months. Since then, has never really recaptured that form. Very inconsistent. Obviously, cost us that game against Avellino this season away from home. So. For me, look, he hasn't played a lot this season, but when he has played, I don't think he's been up to the standard of other defenders that we've got in there. I think he's been kind of a bit of a weak link, unfortunately. So it's not a surprise to see him leave. Obviously, there's been talk about this for a few weeks. Avellino, we're looking at him as well. Juve Stabia as well. Apparently, he sort of refused because he refused those clubs because he wanted to go back to France, apparently, or something. But he has settled for Juve Stabia, it seems. And I assume he'll probably come the summer. He probably will get his move back to Liga or Ligue 2, I imagine, in the summer. But yeah, for me, this wasn't a surprise, especially with Magnani coming back now. Diakite, right centre-back / right wing-back. So, obviously got the centre-back covered now with Magnani coming back. And yeah, not a surprise to me to see him head out.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that he had to go. Obviously, what you said about the first, 6 months of his career with Palermo was good, but I guess one of those players that didn't eventually capture that sort of form in the next 18 months afterwards.
Yeah, very, very inconsistent. Look, on his day, he is a really good player, but he's so inconsistent, and he's. The thing of Diakite is he has like these brain farts in his game, like the Avellino thing. Like he's got
Harry Maguire.
Yeah, he's got just these brain farts. Just he's got a mistake in him. And obviously with the way our defense has been playing this season, that's not something that we can sort of afford to have. But yeah, it's a shame because, like I said, I thought he was when he joined us from Ternana in January of 2024. He was in his first 6 months, he was great, but he just hasn't just hasn't recaptured that form ever since. So not a surprise to see this. But let's talk about some new signings. New signings that we made today.
You went from Brenda Johnson to I don't know his first name.
Dennis.
Johnson.
It's not Johnson. I've gone from Brennan Johnson to Dennis Johnson.
But not at Spurs, but with Palermo.
But I will share it one sec if I can find it. There we go. So Palermo finally made the attacking signing that we've been chasing all window. That is, of course, Dennis Johnson, who joins us from Cremonese. As you can see, announces Dennis Johnson joins from Cremonese. He is joined permanently. What's that?
Oh, he's Norwegian. I thought he was Danish.
Yeah, okay. Norwegian. Yeah, joins us permanently from Cremonese. So, for me, a very good signing. Obviously, look, it's no secret that he was the alternative to Tramoni, so he wasn't our first choice. But for me, he's definitely a great alternative for me. Obviously, had a great season in Serie B with Cremonese last season. Ended up playing a big part in them getting promoted. I believe he got about 10 goals, 8 to 10 goals or something last season. So definitely had a good season in terms of output. He's a sort of right number 10, fits our system perfectly. The same profile as, of course, Tramoni, who was our first choice, of course, famously. We know what happened there, like I just said. But Johnson is definitely a great alternative. I think that having him coming in, I think will add, obviously the quality we need. He's definitely the type of player that we need to add to that front line. Like I said, has a great record in Serie B. Knows how to get promoted, has done it with Cremonese and Venezia. Most notably with Venezia, was linking up with Poi and Paolo. So they know each other well, combined for a lot of goals and assists in that Venezia team, which actually did go up at the expense of us, knocking us out in the playoff semi-final that season, of course. But this is, for me, a fantastic signing. And like I said, Tramoni obviously was the first choice. It's no secret. But Johnson, for me, is a fantastic alternative. And I think it's the same profile of player, and I think fits the system really well. And obviously, like I said, knows what it means to get promoted in Serie B, knows how to get the goals and assists, and knows how to link up with Poi and Paolo. So hopefully now Poi and Paolo will have more service into him. Now Johnson definitely knows how to provide for him. They've combined really well, like I said, at Venezia previously. So for me, finally, look, it took a while with the whole Tramoni drama, soap opera and everything, but finally that attacking signing has arrived, and it is Dennis Johnson, who, for me, like I said, is a very smart signing for me.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? This is, for me, this is definitely a good signing for me.
Yeah. How's right now? Oh, yeah, I saw that chaos about Al Nassr.
Yeah, it's mad.
But funny. But I think this signing does obviously help. Obviously, not really done much in Serie A for Cremonese.
Yeah, well, they haven't really been playing a formation that suits them because under Davide Nicola, they play a 3-5-2. So he doesn't really have a role in that system.
Yeah, but in terms of like having him in the team, especially what he's done last season for Cremonese, I think it's a big signing. Obviously, we'll see what happens with Paolo and how that's dealt with. The injury, it felt like. We'll see. But I think this is a good signing for Palermo. And we'll see. It seems like everyone just wants Norwegian strikers, but no one wants Norwegian defenders. So you guys kind of know what I'm expecting from Norway at the World Cup. Score every goal, but then concede every goal, every game. That's a prediction I have now. Concede in every game. But I think for Johnson, I don't think he'll get into the Norway team because, Erling Haaland and Soloff, Strand Larsen.
Oscar Bob,
Antonio Nusa. And
no shoulder guard. Ghost the guard. Listen, Jonsson's probably better than Ghost the guard. No, I'm kidding.
Well, we'll see by the end of the season for Jonsson with Palermo if 8 goals, 7 assists in last season.
Last season, yeah.
So that's
I said 8 to 10. I said 8 to 10 goals around
15
that area.
GA, which is more than Mo Salah the entirety of last season, or not last season, but the whole of 2025. But I think, and to be fair, more than Isak. But I think overall should be a good signing. Obviously not the main guy, Tramoni, but we'll see how things end up with both him and Jonsson by the end of.
I think this is the best alternative. Jonsson is definitely the best alternative for me.
Yeah, this is basically your Nick Voltemade type of signing, you could say. Not first choice, but
still a good signing.
Good enough to get you into the top.
Yeah, like I said, it's not like the fact that he was, like I said, Tramoni was our first choice, but it's not, that doesn't mean that Jonsson's not good, because I do think this is a good signing, and I think he will add a lot to that Palermo attack, in my opinion. So Jonsson, as it says, Jonsson is Rossonero finally. It's been documented for a while that Jonsson would be the player we do sign if Tramoni didn't materialize. Obviously, that's how it played out. There you go. But yeah, we also made a signing from. Look, Jonsson was documented for a while that we wanted him in case Tramoni didn't happen. But let's talk about, as Sebastian mentions, Rui Modesto, who today, from absolutely nowhere, obviously we were linked with him sporadically earlier in the window, but it was kind of, not really anything reliable. Out of nowhere, in the final hour or so of the window, Palermo went and pulled off the signing of Rui Modesto, like Sebastian mentioned. As you can see, Rui Modesto is Rossonero. As you can see, Palermo FC announces it has acquired the sporting services of Rui Modesto from Udinese. The player is transferring on loan with a conditional obligation to buy, which basically, for those that don't know, that means it will become is a loan with an obligation to buy if Palermo get promoted to Serie A. So if we do win promotion, it will become an obligation. What's crazy about this is I don't know if you saw it or not, on Twitter, because it was obviously Di Marzio, who I'm sure you know. Di Marzio said that we signed him literally. Where is it? Let me get it up.
Oh, is it like, I don't know.
Because this is for those when you talk about deadline day, in terms of the literally like the last second deal. We signed Modesto. We got the paperwork done at 7. So obviously the window closed at 8 p.m. Italian time. So we signed the paperwork in time at 8:59, 57 seconds.
Don't you mean 7?
7, sorry. 7:50. Yeah, my bad.
Then you would have been an hour late.
Nah, 7:59, 57 seconds. Isn't that mental? That is like, how close do you get? Like,
damn. Imagine like you get. Imagine if not who's the one that you said about the family, the wife.
Oh, Magnani.
If it's not him that scores the winning goal, if he ends up scoring the winning goal.
Modesto, after signing at with 3 seconds to go,
and it's an obligation to buy as well. Like imagine if you didn't sign him, you don't get promoted, but you signed him, scores the winning goal to get you promoted, makes it an obligation. So we'll see. It could literally be a 3
seconds that changed the course of the season.
Yeah, so we'll see how it ultimately ends, but. Yeah, I guess obviously Sebastian knows more about him.
Yeah, no, I mean he's obviously at Udinese. He's not a starter for Udinese, as you can see. Sebastian says, right wing back. He obviously comes in to replace Diakite. Diakite, who, well, technically, like I said, Diakite can play right centre back and right back. So technically, Magnani fills that role, and then Modesto fills the right wing back side of things. In terms of, obviously we got Giassi there as well, but I think in terms of the when we've seen Giassi play, Inzaghi seems to prefer him in the front three. So I'm not sure if Inzaghi sees Giassi as a wing back or not. Obviously, Giassi played there for Empoli last season. I think Inzaghi sees him as a player that should play further forward. So, assuming that's the case, obviously with Diakite going, we needed a right wing back. And Modesto, look, not a starter for Udinese. Definitely somebody that, like I said, Sebastian knows quite a bit about. A player that, you know, I do know he's got a lot of pace. He's proper sort of wing back profile. Obviously, is a perfect, I'd say definitely the perfect fit to the system. Definitely fits the system perfectly. Obviously, the 3-4-3 that we play with the wing backs fits the system perfectly. For me, I don't think he starts ahead of Pirozzi. Pirozzi clearly is the first choice there. But it's good depth. It's definitely depth we needed with, like I said, Diakite going out the door. And yeah, he comes in and adds, definitely a good option for us in there. But definitely a player that I think doesn't come in, goes into the first team like straight away. But I think is definitely somebody that can definitely make an impact for the second half of the season. Sebastian, let me know, because obviously he hasn't really played a lot for Udinese, so I haven't really got to see him too much. So if Sebastian can kind of, you know, give us more information on Modesto, that would be perfect. Because despite watching Serie A, I haven't really seen loads of him just because he hasn't played a lot this season. Ten, what's your thoughts on Modesto? And do you know anything about him, mate, that maybe I don't know?
He played for AIK.
He did, yeah, AIK.
That's how Sebastian knows. But yeah, I guess obviously he was, I believe, at the Africa Cup of Nations for
Angola, yeah.
Which I believe has a player called Show as well.
Yeah.
Not I Show Speed, but just Show. But yeah, I think we'll see how he fits in if he becomes a starter. Since Sebastian said he also plays more attacking as well, could mean maybe he could be a right winger or right midfielder if let's say, you know, not doing the defensive, maybe he'll do more of the attacking stuff. But yeah, it seems like he's a good signing. I mean, what he says here, one of their best players for AIK. He was there, scored lots of goals. He was fast and decent crossing. So let's see. Obviously, you said about Palumbo, I think it was, or Ranocchia suspended.
Palumbo.
So, and obviously Palumbo had a good cross in one of the games.
I think getting Johnson, I think that means Johnson will probably go straight in, I imagine. With Palumbo suspended, Johnson obviously is a natural sort of replacement in there.
Yeah, so I think overall should be a decent signing, but we'll see how much game time he gets in Serie B.
Yeah, like I said, it will be tough for me. It will be tough for him to like dethrone Pirozzi, because Pirozzi obviously has been fantastic for us this season at right wing back, but definitely cover that we needed. Like I said, with Diakite leaving, we needed to get someone in, and it was crazy because it literally happened all in the last hour of the window. It all started coming out, and then we apparently, like according to Di Marzio, signed it with 3 seconds left of the window to go. So there you go. Carlo Osti, our sporting director, is eventually it all worked out. Like I said, it was a bit of a frustrating window, just considering, you know, the Tramoni stuff and how long it took. But we did on deadline day secure 2 additions that we needed in the squad. Like I said, Johnson especially, I think, is a very good signing for us. In terms of what I rate the window out of 10, I think a midfielder would have been good. I think we maybe needed a midfielder in there potentially. But I think I would probably say an 8 out of 10, 7, 8 out of 10. I think we strengthen. Look, I think Palermo, look, with the squad we have, we don't need, you know, loads of signings, unlike my other club, which, you know, is fucking disgraceful when it comes to transfer windows. But with Palermo, considering the squad we have where we are in the league, we didn't need, like, you know, loads and loads of signings. We just needed to fill a couple of key positions, and we did that. You know, obviously the attacking one being the main one. Obviously, having Johnson in there is a great signing for us. So I think probably a 7 or 8 out of 10. Like I said, Tramoni would have been good to get him in. Would have been good to maybe get a striker. We were actually linked with Danny Motta, who I think not only would he have been a good signing, but it also would have weakened Monza. We would have taken off one of Monza's key players and weakened their sort of hopes for promotion. Obviously, the other teams had decent windows. Monza had a pretty decent window as well. So what was kind of gutting, though, is that Frosinone were actually their winger that they've got. They were about to sell him to Celtic, but unfortunately it fell through. And I was hoping it would happen because he's a key player. He's a key player for Frosinone, but obviously it didn't materialize. And I think Celtic would have been quite an interesting move, of course. But obviously in terms of outgoings, like I mentioned, Diakite, Brunori, of course, the big one that we spoke about at the start of the window. Obviously wishing him the well, of course, a club legend and everything there. Definitely a productive window. Productive window for Palermo. Hopefully now this gives us the best chance to sort of push for the automatic promotion come the second part of the season. We'll see how it plays out. Unlike my other club that don't know what they're doing in transfer windows. What do you think? What do you kind of rate Palermo's transfer window?
I would say I have a 6, maybe 7, but I'll say 8. I think it was a pretty good, pretty good window, I would say. And as you said, maybe a midfielder would have been
I would have liked a midfielder. I think we need a little bit more depth in that position. I think.
Yeah, but overall, considering where you are in the league, not where you are like in terms of when Italy, but in terms of where you are in the league, you're 4th. So it should be.
Our squad's already strong. Our squad is. I said this at the start. I do think we've got one of, if not the strongest squad. I think.
Yeah. So I think it's just about making sure you're able to do well for the rest of the season.
100%. Like, hopefully this helps us. Hopefully, like I said, the 2 guys we brought in, hopefully they can make an impact in the second half of the season. Hopefully Jonsson gets another promotion to his name after last season. Fingers crossed. He can do it with us this season. But that sort of wraps up the transfer market for Palermo as we do move on to the big game at the weekend. And it is none other than Empoli coming to the Barbera. Not only is it Empoli, but it's Dionisi's Empoli. Dionisi, that absolute fraud that managed us last season. Of course, for those that watch this show will know that he's already been humbled once this season. That was when we went to Empoli and absolutely wiped the floor and won 3-1 and absolutely kicked their asses. And Dionisi was humbled. He was actually, when he rejoined Empoli, because this is his second spell at Empoli, after Empoli, sacked their manager at the start of the season, Dionisi was talking shit about Palermo after, being one of the worst managers I think I've ever seen and one of the most, disgraceful managers in what he was saying as well at the club. So thankfully, Dionisi is not Palermo manager now, of course. Like I keep saying, if we did the show last season, the whole Dionisi thing would be a massive topic on most shows. But thankfully, we're now in much better hands with Filippo Inzaghi, of course. But this is a massive game. Like I said, not just with the whole Dionisi thing, which adds a bit more fire to this game. Because look, we don't have the derby, Catania and Serie C. We don't have the derby, so we need at least one game a season where there's a bit more fire. And I think this is it. Obviously, the reverse fixture was fantastic for us, 3-1. Empoli, obviously, were in Serie A last year, but they've had a lot of turnover in the summer. They pretty much, have a completely different squad to the one they had last season, and they've been really struggling this season. Obviously, not on good form either at the moment. So this is a must-win for Palermo. Like I said, if we want automatic promotion, it's about being consistent and it's about winning these kind of games. And this is what we have to do. Like I said, I know Bari are doing a lot worse than Empoli, but if we put in that same performance that we did against Bari, I have no doubt we win this game. No doubt about it. And I have no doubt that Dionisi will hopefully get humbled once again. But before I get into my prediction, I think I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to do. So I'll let you get it over with.
Empoli 1-0. Dionisi stinks it out at Palermo.
I'll tell you what. If he's 1-0 up, I'll tell you what will happen. He'll be 1-0 up until the last 5 minutes and then lose 2-1. Because that's what he did at Palermo how many times last season? Just saying.
It feels like that sort of thing might happen, but you know what? Just for fun, I don't. Do I think it actually happens? No, but just for fun, why not? 1-0 to Dionisi and Empoli. Even though it won't matter that much for Empoli in terms of like automatic, but if you do lose, it would be a big blow considering the top two play each other. Monza maybe gets a win against Avellino, so definitely a game that you have to win, I would say.
Yeah.
But just for fun, Empoli, let's go.
Like I said, if we want automatic promotion, there's not a lot of points we can drop now. Like we have to be, if we're going to get into the top two, we have to be really consistent from now on.
And hopefully, remember, there's a referee in Serie B named his last name Dionisi as well.
Yeah, but there's no relation. And then, by the way, he's not refereeing this game. So, but yeah, look, I think if Palermo are going to lose a game this season, do not let it be this one. Is all I'm going to say. Do not lose this game. If you're going to lose any game from now till the end of the season, do not let it be this one, because this one, honestly, we cannot let this man come to the Barbera and take anything. We need to humble him again. I'm looking at the camera. We need to humble him again. We need to teach him another footballing lesson again, just like we did in Toscano, just like we did in the away game. We need to bring them back to Sicily, and we need to kick their asses. We need to go out there and put in a convincing performances. Do you know what I just realized? I'm starting to sound like, that meme where it's like, guys, coach is right. We want to win. I'm starting to sound like, oh man, I'm starting to sound like that guy, that meme. But listen, no, jokes aside, putting the Dionisi thing to one side, look, he'll get the reception that he's going to get, which is obviously going to be bad. Empoli, look, they're not doing well. They are struggling. Very inconsistent. Recently got beat 3-0 against Carrarese away from home. Drew to Modena 0-0 at home, although they should have really lost that game. So I'm like I said, if I see the same performance that I saw against Bari, I think we win this game comfortably. If we slack off a bit, this could be a bit of a banana skin. I'm not too sure. But based on what I saw against Bari, I have to back Palermo. And Dionisi, and like I said, the players, I noticed in the away game, they 100%, they rose their game. They 100% knew that, look, we can't lose this. We can't lose to him. We cannot. So I think we'll see something similar. I think this will be a pretty big win. I'm going to say 2-0 to Palermo. 2-0 to Palermo. I think it'll be comfortable, and I think Dionisi will be humbled again. So 2-0 to Palermo. Like I said, a message to Inzaghi, a message to our players. Whatever you do, if you lose a game this season, it is what it is. Just don't let it be this one. But yeah, I'm saying 2-0. I think we get the job done. Like I said, same again, just like against Bari. And I think we do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think might actually happen, but...
You want my tears. I know you want my tears.
Imagine, like, by the end of the season, he leaves Empoli and he gets, like, a Serie A job. Oh my God. Like, I don't know.
His recent Serie A job was Sassuolo, and he played a massive part in them getting relegated. So,
so we'll see. But yeah,
what's your honest prediction?
I'll go just like the last game against them, 3-1. That's what I actually think. But you know what? Cancel 3 goals, 1-0.
Listen, man, if Dionisi takes anything from us, I can't. I genuinely can't, man. I can't deal with this. But I don't think he is. I think we will get the job done, and I think we'll win 2-0. And Dionisi will be taught another lesson by Inzaghi. So there you go. But yeah, I think that pretty much wrap up the show there. Of course, we talked about the transfer market for both Deportivo and Palermo, previewed both clubs' next games as well. But yeah, another episode of La PIñA Rosa. Of course, a bit of a longer show today because of the transfer window closing, both clubs signing some players. Ten. Any final words before we head out?
I hope Dionisi wins.
Of course. Just if you want me to make you smile, Sunderland are 3-0 up against Burnley.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you didn't know.
Oh, really? I haven't
Sunderland-
checked. I haven't actually checked. I forgot they were
Sunderland are
looking.
3-0 up against Burnley. So
Well, I mean, it's expected. But Miranda's the show. Well, as
oh
we're
yeah,
about-
what happened in that game?
2-1 Miranda's full time.
Perfect,
Oh,
perfect result
oh,
for Deportivo.
Deportivo, we are third for the rest of this working week.
In terms of other results for today as well, a bit of a surprise in Serie A. Roma are about to lose to Udinese 1-0.
Yeah. And at the moment, Mallorca 2-1 Sevilla. And Sevilla, they have the goal scorer, Neil Mopai.
Oh, Jesus. Neil Mopai, my word. But yeah, listen, guys, big up everyone for watching. Big up to the chat. We will see you on.
Subscribe to both.
We see you on Thursday. And like I said, Thursday you do not want to miss because I have a lot to say about this board and this transfer window, of course, relating to Spurs. But yeah, that will be for Thursday. So big up, guys.
Newcastle in the cup final.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, big up, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Subscribe to both our channels if you haven't already. And yeah, big up, guys.
Yeah, and like this time as well.
And
Newcastle and Deportivo will win trophies.